now. Good afternoon, good evening, hello. It is time for Season 3 to get underway for the competitive Speed Series. I am going to be doing some casting tonight, and alongside me is the ever wonderful Logan Skelton, who's going to be taking us through China, where we're heading to for round number 1 of this season. How are we, Logan?
I'm brilliant. Unfortunately, I wasn't told we were going to China, and I couldn't get my visa 6 months in advance because that's the law there. But no need to. This is a virtual game, of course, so we don't actually have to make any travel expenses whatsoever. We can just do it from the comfort of our own computer chairs. But here we are, yes, China, the Shanghai International Circuit, which hasn't been on the calendar in the real Formula One for 5 years, but will be opening the competitive Speed Series season this season, and it is quite the track, quite a wide track as well, especially great opportunities for overtaking everywhere, including that long straight that ends with a massively tight hairpin.
Yeah, absolutely. This track known for plenty of dramatic races. If this is your first time tuning in, let's quickly run you through where we were last season. Well, it was CPI who took their first ever championship here. And if you want to know who took it the year before, it was Outplayed Racing. Obviously, well, they're defunct now, so Outplayed Racing have one title, CPI have another, and now it's CPI's job to try and get a second on the board. Are they going to be able to do it? Well, tonight is going to be a deciding start to the season for all teams involved. Obviously, 10 teams here, the likes of WR, obviously CPI, NLR, all competing, as well as plenty of other teams. We'll go through some of the drivers competing tonight as we get into that all-important lobby, which we are heading to now. We're getting ready for qualifying here. Difficult circuit, not an easy one to understand, and it's not one that's used much for league racing, so certainly bound to spring up quite a lot of surprises. But qualifying is about to get underway, Logan. What do you think is going to happen?
A lot, that's what's going to happen. No, yes, there is going to be a lot of battling, especially with team reputation on the line tonight. It's going to be quite an intense battle, I'd have to say. You've got the likes of NLR, RCR, WOR up there, amongst others, established esports teams in this field. And they all want to get the glory tonight. The first of 12 nights this is. We'll be, as you see, the calendar. We are in China tonight, and then I believe the next race is Saudi Arabia. The third race is a mystery, which will be voted on by the managers of the teams. Fourth will be Canada. Then it's off to Britain, Silverstone, after a week break, and then it will be Belgium, Spain, Hungary, another break after that, and then we'll go to Bahrain, Japan, Las Vegas, before finishing off in Brazil. As we are about to get the session underway here at the Shanghai International Circuit, which is just on the outskirts of the city centre. One of the largest cities in the world, China. A city I probably want to go to, and this would probably be definitely one of the stops. Such interesting architecture they have at the front of the track. These two arches, you could say they are, that go between the pit boxes. We have all the drivers are now. We've got the likes of Fraser, Frida, Gapkowski, Blit, and Casper out there, as well as Pullman and the Seki, and all the others have staying put for now. Early days after all, 1 minute into the session.
Yes, absolutely. I'm noticing Coolman is going to be the first driver to go out. Interestingly, we don't see the typical tactic that you see in a lot of other competitions. So they'll go on the intermediate tyres for their first runs. No waiting around on those inters here. We just have a 18-minute qualifying session. No Q1, Q2 and Q3. Nope, everyone has to get straight into it because just one qualifying session to decide the grid here. And it's going to be Coolman who's going to want to get that first lap time on the board, get a good lap time on the board, and certainly going to be trying everything to try and get a good start for the team of NLR. Obviously, so many teams going to be looking for a good result here, and Well, not everyone's going to get a good result out of this race. Only a couple of teams are going to come away with a good amount of points, but certainly a good building block for everyone to just kind of bed themselves into this first race. But cool, man, taking the first lap. Take it away, Logan.
All right, here we go. Coolman is down the stretch, and then it will be these winding 4 turns which feel like they go on forever. It's a hard right into a much harder right before then winding down into the left turns, and then you get your foot on the throttle, go on the inside there, and holler it down to the next turn, like a little kink here before a tight hairpin. Make sure you get the right moment on the apex, and a good exit he does before quite a fast lefty here. You see he's got a bit of traffic he's got to worry about. He gets past it nicely though, and then through these right angled lefts, full on the power, and now down the stretch once again before another winding series of corners. Take a break into the left, and then this winding up right-hander, it feels like it goes on forever, just like that first corner. And you see he's getting the toe from his teammate Moustache. Quite the interesting strategy there, and it looks like it's working. Down the long stretch, the longest stretch, and it's past the interesting architecture at the grandstands and into the hairpin at third gear, 70 kilometers per hour, and now out towards the final corner. A medium brake, and out he comes, and he's got to be careful not to overshoot. He hasn't, and he sets a 1:30.64.
Not a bad lap time there from Coolman to set that first benchmark lap time, getting a handy toe from his teammate, but beaten there by the reigning champions of CPI there, with Fraser going to the top of the timesheets with a 1:35. Keeping an eye on who's coming across the line there. Gakowski can't replicate his teammate's initial good lap pace, only good enough for 5th there, but the 5th of the 5 drivers to set a time up to this point. But a lot of moving parts in this session already. LDL there taking it to the top of the timesheets, but these drivers just getting that banker in, trying to get a representative lap time on the board, knowing it allows them to go flat out for the rest of this session. Looking at the Aston Martin now of Dragon Smith up to the line, to the top of the times. It's a 1:30.389 there for the Aston Martin car. Good lap time there for them, and it's a good start for WR here in Shanghai as they set about trying to get a championship under their belt. When outplayed, and CPI have managed to really put a stand on the first 2 seasons, it's time for WR to try and respond. A team known for a good caliber of drivers, so can they get a title here in Season 3? Well, it's certainly a good start for Dragon Smith.
Indeed it is, but of course you've got EV to add to that, and he goes to 6, a 1:31.023. That puts him about 6 tenths down on his teammate, who is on provisional pole position, who is 92 thousandths ahead. Scratch that! Moustache! The Moustache power has come through and taken the lead by 6 thousandths, but immediately 44 thousandths faster than him is Phil for the IRTs. He gets onto the top of the time sheet, a 1:30.338. That is now the time to beat, as we have 5 drivers yet to set a time, and one of them is Killer Storm, who's making his way down. I think he's actually, yes, he's used his lap already, is he? I'm not sure. He's still making his way. I think he's actually is setting a time. I do apologize. And he gets to the end of the lap with a 12th best time. And Flymaran and Indian have pitted. Flymaran has pitted, so he's not set a time yet. But Indian currently setting a time now. This will be at sector 2, 35 seconds in. And Flymaran's retired. Now, is there a reason? Has he got like any penalties or something? But he's already retired from the session. I'm not sure, because of course I've just been drafted in as a commentator.
No, I don't believe I have any form of penalty. I have no idea. Something clearly maybe gone awry there. That means they've just not decided to set the time. Maybe they just fancy a last to first challenge. Perhaps, who knows? anything.
Marum.
Why not? But
Yeah.
Indian coming up to the line through that final corner now. Quite a bit of traffic to contend with because obviously drivers going slower around. But these kind of faster lap times coming from some drivers now. Indian, though, only 10th best as things stand. But no pressure there. You got plenty of time to get back around, come into the pit lane and sort everything out. Obviously, 19 drivers, so a bit of pressure to get a good lap time. But if you don't, it's not too much of a worry. You've got plenty of time to get back in, get a new set of tyres and go again.
Yeah, I was going to say, Flymarm is part of the ESRL team driving Alpha Tauris. His teammate is currently 16th. That's Lost Super Spy. I do believe that is under the name of Carlos. Yes, Carlos is the driver name. It's on my sheet. The other one, of course, being Marm. He is not set a time. We do have drivers out for their second laps, and I do believe their teammates have stayed in. I presume so to give the tow, because I noticed that with the last time, of course, they don't want to waste their lap, so they go out on the out lap and provide the tow, and then they set their own lap. As CPI Fraser will come around the final corner and start his lap. The second of the afternoon. Down the stretch he comes, goes to the extreme left of the track to get as much speed as he can into the first corner, as he gets past the Aston Martin, which is, of course, actually Evie that's just coming out, before he makes his way through turn number 4, and then he'll approach Dara, who is currently in the top 3 in this session. As he's actually faster than he was last time. He needs to be faster by around 0.2, 0.191 down on Phil. That still might not be enough, especially with half the session left to go. That pole time may not last long. Phil still at the top for the IRTs. Fraser making his way around. Also, just behind him will be Cool Man. His teammate's in second place, and he might be getting the tow from his teammate as well. As we see, there's his teammate there, Gakowski, getting ready to let Fraser take the tow, but he's had a little slide through that turn, and that might be a little costly for Fraser. Fraser now using all the tow he can. He gets the DRS, and now they're off into the sunset, into the distance, as Fraser backs off at the last moment to give him a push. Coolman is getting the push from Moustache. Fraser now coming round the final corners, and he needs to beat 1:33.38. Has he done enough? Coming out of the final section, and he has by 0.136, Byron.
Good lap time there. Cool Man, the tow not being quite as effective, only up to 5th there for the for NLR there. So a good lap time, but not one that's really put much of a stamp on a potential pole, but Fraser certainly has. What a lap time from the CPI driver. Obviously taking the championship last season. Can they do it again? Well, certainly on pole at the minute is a good way to go about it. Casper Falk there into second place as well. So a good start for IRT in this session, but a lot of teams looking good. A couple on the back foot. You look towards, the AlphaTauri team. They're struggling quite a bit. VMV, struggling a little bit more as well. But CPI, they need Gatkowski to get up there if they want any chance at, really putting a stand here. But he's going to get that teammate from his teammate Fraser. The toe, from his teammate Fraser, and that's exactly what he's going to want, and it's what he's going to get. As now we go down the straight once more, and the toe coming in very handy indeed. Imagine if slipstreaming was banned, these drivers would have absolutely no pace, because they are getting absolute crucial temps down that straight from that slipstream effect being behind the other car of their teammate. But there, Gatkowski up to line. Is it going to take him up the order? It does, to the top of the timesheet by 7 thousandths of a second. But NLR Moustache, wow. Clearly CPI, they're on top form, but NLR wanting to be even higher in the, in the highs of Shanghai because Moustache takes it to the top
No!
of the times. Phil says no and goes
It's
into the
130.
129s.
He's broken 130, Byron. That was an insane lap, and we completely missed it because you were jibber-jabbering on about the CPIs. You were! How did you do that? But yeah, CPIs were 1-2 momentarily. Now they are 3 and 4. Casper Flack down there, just so close to Fraser, but he couldn't crack it, is in 5th. So it's really good standing for the CPI and the IRT teams. WR up there as well. I can tell you right now, the top 4 teams are NLR, WOR, IRT, and CPI, all just a bit muddled up. It's quite crazy. And then now they're basically almost 2x2. 9th and 10th are the LDLs and the Ferraris, and then RCR you've got Shida and Nassim. It's almost in order. If we just need to swap the Williams and the McLaren cars, but. Yes, we've got one set of laps left to do, and then that will be the session complete, and we'll have our pole sitter determined. No improvement for Indian, who's got to the line in 13th still. Enzo down there, still on 1.162. He's the lone wolf for the Haas tonight. The other driver, Sven or Seo, they cannot make it tonight, so it's just one driver for the Haas. And will only basically score at maximum. Is it 25 points to the win?
I actually don't know.
Oh,
I believe so. Point system, I have it somewhere.
Well, whatever they get for the win, they'll get if they win the race.
Whatever they get for the win, they will get for the race. Absolutely. I know I'm going to find it, because I know I've had it here somewhere at some point, and I've completely lost it, which is brilliant. I mean, ideally, if someone could send it to me, that'd be ideal. Please, Harvey.
I don't think it's 25 points.
I do think it is, but I now need to double check.
Anyway, we guys are waiting patiently for the last set of laps.
Absolutely. We're getting outlaps now, though.
Alright, I have it. It's 35 points for pole position. With 30 for second, 26 for third, 4th you get 23, 20 for 5th, 17 for 6th, 14 for 7th, 12 for 8th, 10 for 9th, 8 for 10th, 6 for 11th, 12 for 4th, 4 for 12th, 3 for 13th, 2 for 14th, and 1 for 15th. 2 points for the pole position, 1 point for the fastest lap, inside or outside the top 15. And if you get a DNF, you'll score 0. So there will be points, a lot of points scored tonight, the top 15. But yeah, you have to finish the race. If you don't, then, well, actually it's 90%. If you mark as DNF, then you get nothing, even if you finish in the top 15. Which is quite rare.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. These drivers are going to be wanting to perform there, absolutely. So, going to be a lot of pressure on, I think, for some of these drivers. But very nearly towards these final laps of this lobby. I'm noticing Coolman is on a flying lap here, currently down in 8th place. Needs an improvement. His teammate Moustache is on an outlap, probably going to be giving him a handy tow around this final stretch of the track, because you absolutely need it. Gives you so much pace, so much performance, and 3 tenths up going through the sector 2 timing split is Coolman. So this tow could be crucial, could be the lap that gives him pole position here for NLR. NLR need this slipstream to go absolutely pitch perfect here, and it's going very nicely indeed. Watch as Moustache goes out the way so they get the maximum downforce into the corner. Sweet as you like it. Coolman now round the final bend and up to the line, but don't forget Casper Flack, who's heading up to the line now. What's it going to be for him? Up to second, doesn't quite get into the 129s, but Coolman does to the top of the times with a 129.983. What a lap time for Coolman to stamp a mark for NLR on pole position here. Can Phil respond? That is the question. No! Well, Phil might be able to, but Fraser definitely has. By over a tenth of a second. That's a difficult lap time to beat now. Phil is going to have to pull a mad lap out here. He's equal with his Sector 1 time. Now, through sector number 2 we go. This left-hander, it goes on for ages. It's very difficult not to lose the rear there. I've lost the rear so many times, but now through this right-hander, into this tricky left. Pinpoint precision here from Phil to take this very nice, just slightly missing wide of the apex there. Not maybe the ideal line being taken through that sequence, but up on his previous time by just under 3/4 of a tenth here. This could be a defining lap. He needs this final sector to be good as well. Just like Coolman, this could be the slipstream of dreams. It could get him a pole position. It could get him everything that IRT would want, but that slipstream not quite as good as the one from NLR, just because he got a bit too close to the back of that to the back of his teammate before the braking zone. Could have had a couple extra meters if they'd got that a little bit more perfect, but up to the line for Phil. Is it going to be to the top? No, it's not. It's not even an improvement. So disappointing, but Moustache up to the line and into the 129 sevens. Hello? Where did that come from?
Where did that come from indeed? Is Gatkowski going to improve? It looks like he's going to get to the line. No, he hasn't. He's only 4th. Dara Smith is improving, but not by much. The WR driver coming down the stretch. He's got no toll to help him, so it's going to look a really big mountain to climb for him. Coming to the hairpin now. It looks like he might not make it, but is he going to get enough to get up any part of the order? It doesn't look likely. Coming towards the final corner, he grinds the curb, and he doesn't get any higher up. It looks like it's all over. Evie's not improving. Nassim is on the grass. I think that's it. Keys Killer Storm nearly hit one of the cars that spun. Gets into 13th. That was Lost Super Spy of the Alpha Tauri Visa Cash Up Racing Bulls, who's doing burnouts for some reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, that will conclude the session. Moustache is on pole position with his teammate just behind him in 3rd. Fraser separating the two, also on the front row. It's going to be Moustache and Coolman on the left, and Fraser and Gatkowski in the CPIs on the right on the grid. The 3rd row is a McLaren gridlock. Sorry, the IRTs who have locked the 3rd row. We have on the left of the rows, we have WR 7th and 9th, Dara and Evie, 8th and 10th for the LDLs. So they'll be on the left and right in the mid pack. It's going to be quite interesting how they pull these strategies off. Considering that we are. Some of these cars are right close together. They're going to have a game plan off the starting blocks.
Absolutely, but looking over your qualifying results then, it was NLR Moustache who took pole position for round number 1, followed by CPI Fraser Coolman in 3rd, Gatkowski in 4th. A good result for CPI here, but a good result as well for IRT. NLR, though, coming out on top in terms of the qualifying results. Jagger Smith there in 7th. LDL there with Xenon in 8th. Evie 9th for WR. LDL getting Naseki there in 10th. Nassim and Shida there 11th and 12th respectively. But we now go to this race. I can't remember if there's a mandatory lobby restart, so this could be funny as we watch Demolition Derby, possibly. But I didn't see any 5-place grid penalties, so there's a very high likelihood that we actually just go, because don't see any issue at all. These drivers got through qualifying cleanly. So it looks like we'll be going pretty much straight underway. No one seeming to be calling a lobby restart. No one seeming to have a penalty. It looks a little on the overcast side, Logan, so we might be in for a bit of a wet one, possibly.
Possibly indeed. We're just waiting for the go-ahead to get racing here. The Shanghai International Circuit, one of the celebrating its 20th anniversary of 20th anniversary of racing and operation. Quite one of the better designs from Herman Tilker. Of course, we won't talk about the bad, but it is a work of art. I can tell you that right now. It feels like a lot of fun, and yeah, we can't wait to get racing as we wait for everyone to ready up for the race to commence. You can see a lot of drivers still readying up in well, actually they're on the track. I don't know why they're showing the pit lane. They should be showing the grid. It would make more sense. But hey, that's the way Codemasters does it. We'll can't really say
Features,
much
as we
else.
like to call it. Features.
Yeah, the timer isn't showing either. That's been the case for a while on this game.
Yes, absolutely. So many problems with this game, but it won't be long until we're getting underway for the first round of the season. So do not go anywhere. The drivers, I think, just choosing their strategies and their tyres because, well, they certainly don't seem to be saying there's a restart, so not long now.
Yeah, I imagine you'd be seeing a mass defects if they were going to restart, but no, everyone seems to have stayed in the lobby.
Exactly. Not long now. I think we're about to get underway. And normally, it's not this long of a wait, but clearly everyone thinking about the first race. Maybe everyone got the first race blues, trying to figure out what they're quite managing. And yeah, really, so this is going to be very interesting when we get underway in just a couple of moments' time. Looking at the chat at the minute, people talking about qualifying or saying what a lap from Moustache who's cooking, and people also saying about the NLR drivers going into the main tier. So a lot of people giving the NLR teams a lot of support here. And no surprise, a great result for that team. But we're just moments away from this very first race of the season here in Shanghai. It's taking a lot longer than I thought.
Maram did get a qualifying ban apparently from the Ace. Ace said that he got a qualifying ban. I'm not sure.
I have not seen wherever this is,
but no qualifying, no penalties at all. But yeah.
Yeah, I have not seen anyone talking about penalties.
Sorry. Don't know what's taking so long. Are they waiting for a ready up?
They could be. I'm noticing the discussion in the Discord as things stand is talking about the lobby host as opposed to anything else. But here we go. Here we go. It's been an age. These drivers, well, I'm surely they've got no practice now because it's taken them ages, but it's lights out and away we go. Here in Shanghai, NLR off to a good start in qualifying. Can they convert it in the race while Moustache leads the way and Fraser battling or trying to maintain position with Coolman. Coolman thinking about round the outside of turn number one. Surely not. But Gatkowski thinking about the overtake around the outside of Coolman, going side by side now as we go down towards the first hairpin of many here. Is Gatkowski going to have the measure of Coolman here? Yes, he can. Side by side they go now. Surely they don't go side by side to the left-hander. No, a little bit of sensible racing from those two as now. The battling continues through this first lap of action here in Shanghai, but there's a lot to be decided here, and strategy is going to play a key one, Logan.
Yes, it is. Top 7 remain unchanged, but there's lots of shuffling in the back. Lots of Zai and Blitz fighting for a back marker position. And that's Indian on the inside, and we have a spinner. That is actually
Phil.
fun. Oh, it's the two. One of the McLaren's Phil, who was up there in 5th, has had a spin. I didn't see that there. I was too focused on the back. They seem to be in an order, but now we've got a battle here. Xenon and Casper Flack, and Evie going 3 wide into the hairpin. And out they come, and it looks like Xenon gets out ahead of Casper and Evie, and is up 2 places into 6th position now, as the first lap concludes.
Absolutely, our first lap of action, very crazy indeed, but thoughts go out to Phil. I mean, what a disappointing start to the race, so high up to begin with, and just a really unlucky first lap of action for IRT there, meaning that Phil is all the way down in 17th out of those points for those top 15 drivers, as we reminded ourselves, all learned in the case of Logan, but here we go then, getting through these laps now, getting the action underway, and so much to be decided here. NLR though, getting Gatkowski ahead of Coolman there on the first lap of action, but Xenon being a good gainer there as well, getting past Casper Flack and Evie there on that first lap. That's exactly what you want to do, and it was brilliantly done by them, so not a problem at all. Looking at your tyres though, top 13 all on hard, then you've got a few sets of mediums, and then Phil and Shida there on hard, but the rest of those from 14th down to 19th on the medium wool tyres. What strategies can we expect tonight though, Logan?
Well, I talked strategy, but look at Fraser. He looks like he's trying to tease Moustache into the hairpin down the long stretch. And Fraser can't... He was getting very close to Moustache, I have to say, going down that straight, but he just couldn't pull a move off, even though he looked gonna... He was just teasing Moustache, it seems, as they complete the second lap, and that means DRS will be enabled coming out of to the stretch next time around, and the fastest lap set by Dara Smith in the WOR, as Gatkowski gets very close to his teammate there. Itching to get past him and saying, come on, hurry up, get past Moustache already, in the NLR at the front, as the Coleman is also watching very ominously, seeing if Moustache can keep the 2 CPI drivers in the Mercedes at bay. Further back, we've got Dara Smith, who's about 7/10 behind. He's up 2 positions for the WOR boys. Meanwhile, further down, Bell needs to make up some ground if he's to score big points tonight. Enzo is still in the position he started in, and he's right behind Marm, who's made up 5 positions despite that qualifying ban. Oh, he had a qualifying ban, so wouldn't retire the spot, would you? But anyway, here we come to the final corner before the DRS. Take it away, Byron.
Well, yeah, here we go. This is where everything gets a little bit hectic and a little bit chaotic, but I don't think it's going to be all too much drama right now. But DRS, for the first time, wide open on the cars here. This is what these drivers are going to want. Fraser down the inside of Moustache here, into this tricky hairpin on the exit, though. Who's going to have the better exit? It is Fraser, though, who gets that better exit. Can Moustache challenge it into the final? We had another spin there at the back. I don't know quite who that was. There was a little bit of a tussle there. Not quite able to tell. I noticed that Maron has gone down a few positions again. And unfortunately, Moustache losing out.
But here comes Gatkowski.
What an overtake there. Can he hold it around the outside for CPI? This would be a sensational overtake if he manages to do it. Is he going to be able to? Yes, he is. Moustache losing 2 places in the space of 20 seconds. And what an overtake that was from Gatkowski to get it done for CPI. It's now a 1-2 for the team. That is quite the overtake and quite the statement from that team.
Yes, indeed. 2 CPI drivers in first and second, and NLR left to yield and have to recoup and see how they're going to get back past. There's like many laps to go, 25 of them to be exact, but this battle ain't going to be over yet. Meanwhile, further back, Flymaro and RC Phil have dropped back. in the field, and this is not what they wanted. They were already getting up, but now they're going back down to square one. Now it looks like, is this going to be a defensive move from the CPI? They're going to switch positions so that the NLR drivers can't get close up, and he doesn't. Gatkowski now in the lead for the Fraser team. It's still a 1-2.
Dragger Smith, by the way, down the
drivers.
inside of Coolman. Sorry to cut you off, Logan, but I just noticed Dragger Smith going for quite an outrageous dive on Coolman, but Coolman being able to do the old switcheroo under that hairpin and being able to hold it there through the final turn. But Dragger Smith, what a ballsy attempt at an overtake, not able to quite hold it, but so close to getting it job done and getting WR up into the top 4. Not a bad showing from WR at this point in the race, clearly looking like a strong team, a strong contender, and Dragger Smith, as things stand, really putting in a good drive so far in this race. Looking across the order, are there any key battles to look at? I think Phil is going to be one to keep an eye on, although down in 15th, he's got himself into the points now, but obviously he has got a long way to climb from the lofty heights he started this race in, but quite a lot of movement likely to happen as this race progresses.
Yeah, he started 5th, now he's down to 15th. I am looking at the timing screens. It looks like Dara's trying to close up to Coleman again and try and break ranks into the top 4 and maybe challenge the other NLR driver and perhaps the 2 leading CPIs. He would come down the stretch once again. Now, Fraser very far away from Gatkowski. He's going to have enough time to make a defensive move. He goes to the right to try and negate Moustache's DRS as they come down the stretch once again in an orderly fashion. And whoa, the McLaren there of Casper Flack, the IRT of Casper Flack, goes very wide and out of line at the hairpin. And it might have cost him a bit of ground. Meanwhile, Dara Smith starting to gain ground on the Coolman once again with the DRS coming into the first corner. And the 2 leading CPIs are now right close to each other again. And Moustache right up there as well. Top 6 looks like they can't be separated right now, Byron.
Yeah, absolutely. These top six glued with some sort of really sticky adhesive. Are they using super glue? Well, it certainly looks like it, because they are just sticking with one another and not really moving about all too much. Obviously, CPI having had a great start to the race.
Byron! To cut you off, well, that was for 15th place, and it is for a points position, so I have to give attention to it. And he just, I think it was Sheena, he just ran right into Phil into the corner, and it was a really dangerous move. And I think he might have got away if it has Phil. Yeah, no damage I can see in that car. Very close. Now, looking at the back of the field, now the gap is 8 tenths between the top 2, the CPI drivers, and there's another spin that will be, is that the, I think it was Super Spy again, but no, here are the stash on the outside of Fraser. Oh, he's hit him! He's hit him at the back! That might be, wait, what's happened? Man here, he's lost sections. What's happened, Byron?
I have not got a clue, but I'm noticing he's about to get overtaken by Evie here, so he might have been involved in that incident. He might have gone into the back of his teammate, who went into the back of Fraser. I honestly couldn't tell you here, but there's so much going on, and you keep cutting out, Logan. I'm not sure quite what's happening every now and again, but who knows what's happening here. So much drama is beginning to bubble over, but Coolman there losing places. Someone asking in the chat, what happened to Phil? He spun on the second lap of this race, and unfortunately it lost him quite a few places and meant that he's had to come back from the back of this grid, but doing a good job so far. And going round is the RVL car of Delay there, down in, falling all the way down to 17th. So a lot of things happening in this race, but plenty still to be decided now. But Moustache battling with Fraser, but his teammate not able to help him in this battle any longer.
Right, I've turned voice suppression off to see if that helps anything, just to let you know. If I am cutting off, I do apologise. Don't know what's happening from my mic. It was alright when I tested it. But anyway, Castor Flat right behind Darragh Smith, this for fourth position on track, as we see they're shuffling about on the straight to try and sight them out. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Massive run into the back, and that's the CPI freezer effect in there, as they just seem to have banzaied into the corner. I know it's the wrong side of, whoa! What is that? That is very disgraceful there. Freezer seems to have just taken out Darragh Smith. Is all kicking off. It's just hooliganism out there.
Yeah, the blood is boiling over for some of these drivers, but think about Gatkowski in this situation. He's managed to pull over a second in this battle because these drivers, they couldn't stop fighting. In fact, to the point where they literally threw each other off the circuit, and all of a sudden, Gatkowski's in the lead quite convincingly. Now Moustache has got a tall order to get into that 1 second margin. That incident, by the way, involving Darragh Smith, Fraser, and I believe Casper Flack was involved there as well. But all of this kind of top pack losing time to one another is really going to hurt all of their races. I'm noticing Darragh Smith, by the way, onto a set of soft tyres, so a complete change in the strategy from what he was probably going to be doing because of that incident. A lot has just happened there, and that is going to have big implications for this race, because now it looks like NLR are in the best place right now.
They are indeed. NLR second and fifth right now, as we have an incident again involving, I believe, yes, Kill a Storm, or is it Blitz? There was a yellow flag around for one of the Red Bull RVL cars. And meanwhile, we have, looks like, Fraser trying to catch back up with the top six. As, whoa, there's lots of lockups happening in that corner. There seems to be a lot of smoke coming out of those tyres. And after that absolute kerfuffle on the previous lap, it looks like the battles seem to have simmered down now.
Understandably so. You can't get much more drama than that. The steward's going to be probably having a lot to look at after this race, because so many team representatives are going to be fuming at what's just happened to their drivers. There's going to be plenty of action and drama in the steward's room. I have absolutely no doubts after this one, but Gatkowski leads by 1.5 seconds on lap number 9 of 28 here in Shanghai on those hard compound tyres, probably running up until about lap 15 or so if you're going onto a set of mediums. But then if you want to run until those softs, you're looking at about lap 18, lap 19, pushing about lap 20 or so, I would say, most likely, if you're going for the soft compound of tyres. But Moustache probably about to come under pressure from Casper Flack here on this particular straight, because he hasn't got DRS to help or tow him along. But these two need to work together if they want to get up to the back of Gatkowski, because they've got a lot of work to do, Logan.
Yeah, it's a temporary truce, kind of like what they do in NASCAR with the draft bumping their opponents until all kicks off. But Casper Flack starting to close up to Moustache for second place, and there it is. The IRT driver getting into second position, and he has a bit of a slide out of that hairpin. That's not going to do him any favours whatsoever. Now he's down 2 seconds from Gatkowski. It's all falling apart for the drivers behind the leader. Moustache now has Xenon to deal with behind. Coolman still up there in 5th. And Moustache now closing up to Casper again. And he says, I want that place back. Give me it. I want to win this race. And he said, no. I'm going to try and get him first. Casper Flack saying, seeming like they're coming round the first few corners once again, as the rest of the drivers just filing through. Moustache. And whoa, was that a lock up there from Kersky? It looks like he's lost a couple of attempts now. Casper Flack now getting a bit of time gain thanks to that. And the Moustache and Xenon just filing through into the upper corners-ish. Byron.
Absolutely, we go through towards the end of Sector 2 now, and plenty of things still to unpack. That lock up there for Gatkowski, losing him a little bit of time, and it didn't take him long to gain it back. These drivers, they need to think about in front of them as opposed to behind them, because right now they're not gaining on Gatkowski like they need to. They need this truce to work out. They need to really work together here. But this is a team championship. They don't want to work together because they know that every position equals points. and they need every point they can get in any team championship, because like happened last season between Outplayed and CPI, it went down to the final race, and that is exactly why they're not going to leave any points on the table here, and that's why they're going to be as selfish as they dare here tonight. And well, they're clearly being a little bit selfish at the moment, but I'm sure in a little while, once they've settled into this race, we're going to get all manner of drama.
Yeah, of course, OP Racing now no longer in this series. Of course, the reasons are, well, if you've been keeping up in the loop, you will know, in all honesty. But then again, that is Phil up into 10th place with a move on Quasar in the outside of the VMV car, and now into the top 10. So a great move there. We've also gotten a sim on the other VMV car from RCR going for Indian for 8th place, and he seems to be feeling the pressure here, and a sim much quicker in that Alpine, and a slide from Indian, starting to feel the heat and the pressure from behind. And now it's going to be very worrisome for the VMV team, because RCR's Nassim is coming right behind and should be a clear advantage coming out of this winding right-hander and down the long 1 kilometer plus stretch. The DRS about to go on now as they go under the advertisement hoarding. Through he comes, and on the side, and that should be 8th place. Meanwhile, Casper Flack is closing up to Moustache, but so has Xenon. Is it all going to kick off again? Coolman and Fraser up there too.
Yeah, it certainly could do. Casper Flack having been overtaken by Moustache briefly. They're wanting to fight back down into the first corner, but not quite able to respond or do anything yet. But the LDL, Xenon, they're really getting close up to the back of Casper Flack there. It could all kick off again. Could this time LLR come out the wars a little more wounded? That is the thing that I think a lot of teams are probably thinking about, and maybe in a way hoping about. They don't want NLR to take a commanding lead out of this first race, because they're going to want to see what they can do out of this one too. I'm noticing Dragon Smith has come into the pit lane once again, coming off of those soft compound tyres. Not sure if this is to retire in the pit lane. It wouldn't surprise me, because unfortunately he is quite far down. There's a yellow flag there in sector 2. I believe that's Jesus, I cannot word today.
Jesus is not racing.
VMW, that was the VMW of Quasar there, losing a couple of places. He was there battling with Phil, but now falling down to 12. Could still get a good couple of points for his team there, but not going to get quite as many as they might be hoping. But this battle towards the top,
Whoa!
continuing.
Sorry, a Xenon right side by side with Casper Flack there in third, but he couldn't get the job done. And now he has Coolman to fight off. They're coming down the stretch again. Here they come once again then. It is Coolman. Cannot get close enough. Casper Flack right behind. It's starting to lighten up now here in Shanghai. It's starting to get a little sunnier. It is overcast. It was much, much darker earlier, but it seems like the threat of rain is non-existent.
Yes, absolutely. The threat of rain not very prevalent for the time being. Whether the clouds come back towards the end of this race is another question. Another big lock up there. These drivers can't stop locking up for some reason. Clearly these turns are a little bit more difficult than those on other circuits, but that makes this circuit even more of a challenge for these drivers, and absolutely one that they need to conquer. But the gap between Gatkowski and Moustache, 3 seconds, so he's got a penalty in hand, Gatkowski, and well, he can just run his own race at this point, because he's not under any threats right now from the cars behind. He can just run his race and have a sweet old time of it. But this battle behind, involving Moustache, Casper Flack, Xenon, Coolman and Fraser, it's going to go on for quite a while in this race. And I think that's probably why they're losing so much time to Gatkowski, because they're just not able to get a move on and catch up to him.
Oh, look at Xenon going for it again! We can't get it. Casper Flack keeping him at bay for now. And that's going to help Moustache quite a bit as we got someone in the pits. That's Coolman. He's going to do the undercut scenes on all the drivers in front, even Moustache perhaps. He's definitely not going to do Gankowski. Not for now. As the battles continue, that is Nassim going up to the pits as well. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going to change their tyre on. Right behind Casper Flack. Coolman comes in, goes from hards to... Wait, is he went from mediums to mediums?
Possibly.
What tyre was he on? I have him on... He was on hards. I guess he was on... Because I can't actually remember. He's on mediums now. They have to do hards mediums, basically. That is the prime strategy. I think half the drivers are doing hard for doing mediums, it seems. I do apologise for not having it on there. And Aseki getting for 11th on Blitz, and he has managed to pull it off very handsomely. And that will be another few points onto the board for the LDL team. Meanwhile, his opponent, Xenon, is right. His teammate, Xenon, is closing up to Casper Flack, who's closing up to the Moustache. It's going to be a close shave at the hairpin, I'll tell you that. And he seems to have got it. Yes, he has passed the car completely. So, that's Casper Flack up into second place once again, and they're all coming in. They're all coming into the pits.
Absolutely. Coming into the pit lane now, the top few. This could be an opportunity for those behind to try and see if they can gain on Gankowski. Just remember, they've only got to gain 1.8 seconds with this undercut to actually get within DRS range of Gankowski. And that's exactly what Moustache and Casper Flack are going to be looking to do. Try and get a move on and try and get up to Gankowski if they can, because those tyres, they're going to be a lot more grippy. They might take a couple corners to warm up properly, but they're going to unleash a lot of pace to begin with. Might give them an opportunity to get within DRS range of Gatkowski, but it's going to be quite the stretch. It will be fine margins, but for now, pitting for a change of tyres, and they've got a lot of distance to cover yet in this race.
And Coleman has got out of that very nicely. I think Moustache has done all the defending he has. Keep them at bay, and now Coleman is ahead of all the drivers who were in that fight, as he is now got behind Fly Marum, who is yet to pit. Of course, the top four yet to pit, including the leader, Gatkowski, who is about 21 seconds ahead of Coolman, who gets past Fly Marum. No interference from Fly Marum. He doesn't need to get involved. It's not his main rival, it seems. And down he goes towards the straight once again. Gatkowski is coming into the pits.
Absolutely, it's going to be crucial to see where Gatkowski filters out. Fly Marum very strategically moved out of the way and let Coolman through before the DRS detection point to give himself DRS and not give Coolman DRS. So maybe trying to assist Gatkowski ever so slightly, or just benefit his own race, because he's really prevented it. But out of the pit lane, Coolman's into the lead because Gatkowski has lost a lot of time and is now under pressure from Casper Flack and Moustache behind this yellow flag there. That's lost Super Spy there for...
He nearly hit him!
ORT, and yes, very close. Gatkowski fighting there with Fly Marum on older tyres. And there we go, Casper Flack there through as well. Is he quite through? A little more difficult for Casper Flack to get through, but now the battling continues as Moustache gets past Fly Marum there as well. 15 laps on those tyres. He's losing so much pace, but he's holding up these cars quite a lot as well. Even though he's trying to get out of the way and not be a hindrance, he's not exactly helping either.
He nearly hit Evie there coming out of the corner. But yeah, he's really proved to be a spanner in the works in these last few minutes. And that is only went and helped Coolman now. Really have turned. He's 2.5 seconds ahead of Gatkowski. That was the other way round, as you saw. Gatkowski was about 3 seconds ahead. Not anymore. And now he's under threat from Casper. Here he comes. Is he going to go for the send? Not. But I'll tell you who was. Xenon was about to, and he backs off at the last minute. Great reflexes from Xenon as the yellow flags come out again. Don't know why, but it did. And that was for Dara Smith, who has honestly had the worst day imaginable. He is about to be lapped by Coolman here. And I fear to see what happens because, of course, he and I think it was Fraser had a clash in one of the opening laps of this race, which I call disgraceful. Because we don't like to see those kind of incidents. It seemed like a revenge move after the dive bomb down the stretch. It was not necessary. These incidents happen, but there's no need to retaliate. If there is ever one.
Absolutely no need to retaliate, but certainly someone who will be looking to retaliate in terms of his pace on the track will be Gatkowski. He has closed ever so slightly. That 2.5 seconds is only now 2.1 seconds of an advantage that Coolman has over him, now under 2 seconds. He's got a lot of time to find a good margin to try and get in this race, but Coolman is currently still out in front. He's got about 9/10 of a buffer to Gatkowski, but maybe that's not going to last all too much longer. Back behind there, that is Fraser there down the inside of Xenon there, losing a place. Xenon there for LDL, losing out there, but not exactly a case of losing heaps of time. He's just been overtaken using that DRS and a bit more battery, and that's exactly what Fraser has done to get up there into the top 5 as Phil sets a fastest lap time. Obviously, I said he was one to watch. He's down in 9th place. He's got tyres that are 2 laps old. He could catch up to this train that involves those race leaders and possibly contend with them towards the later stages of this race. But so many moving parts in this one. It could be anyone who wins this race.
But moving parts aren't allowed on cars other than DRS. Sorry, I know what you meant. Yeah, he is catching up to Gatkowski. Of course, Coolman is on a longer age of tyres, so it could come to a head later, perhaps nearly at the end of the race, where it all really kicks off, and the battle will really, truly reignite itself, as the gaps are starting to get much slimmer. They can't really be separated at this rate, and if they keep at this, everyone else behind them is going to come close. In fact, he's around 1.25. It is starting to become much smaller, that gap. And, well, it's fluctuating down the stretch. It usually does. As Dara Smith has actually left the session, whether it's a DC or, just out of pure spite that it's not going well today. In fact, he's actually coming into the pits right now. Even though he's left the session, it does it automatically for him, it seems. The gap there at the top, 1.1 seconds. Coolman and Gatkowski, they're about to come to heads again, it seems.
Yes, absolutely, as Gatkowski is nearly within 1 second of Coolman, and that would be quite the achievement to gain that amount of time. Not many laps left in this race, 10 laps to go in this one, and there's certainly a lot that could happen and so many things to be decided in this one. But Phil has been catching up to the back of Nassim there like a rocket ship. I believe he gained 1.3 seconds on Nassim in the last lap, so really trying to get a move on in this one, and no surprise, the pace he's got, no wonder he's trying to catch back up, because he knows that if he's able to, he is in contention. But someone who's finally back in contention is Gatkowski, because this time round he will have that all-important DRS on Coolman ahead, because Coolman just hasn't quite been able to hold the pace on, and Gatkowski lifts off nice and early because he doesn't want to overtake Coolman.
Yeah, come on, these stupid camera angles are so bad. Why do they do this? Gatkowski right behind Coolman now. Oh, he's right! He's gone wide out the corner. That will help the cool man. Xenon goes wide out the corner. That'll be a warning. Now Casper Flack with an opportunity to close up, and he has taken it very nicely, and now he's within touching distance of the leaders, as well as Moustache, who's on the outside here. Moustache looking to get some speed around that first corner. Out we come to the straight once again. It is a penalty for Noseki there at further back, and he's in the pits as well. Going to change his tyres, and that's Stakowski on the inside! They come to a head, and they're side by side out of the corner. They cannot be separated. Still side by side out of the corner. Coolman holds on for now. What's Gatkowski got up his sleeve? Goes to the outside again. He's going to try and get some speed in again. No, he can't. He somehow did not get past, and this opens the door for the drivers behind him as well. Casper Flack, Moustache, and Fraser all HD as Xena watching on as in the back. Through we come once again. Bit wide for Gatkowski in that corner. Now they're going to come to a head once again. Casper Flack will watching ominously, see what blows over. Gatkowski now side by side with Coolman. Casper Flack waiting to pounce. Gatkowski back into the lead. Coolman is going to be using a tool for Casper Flack. He's going to lose 2 positions in 2, but he somehow gets through. Casper Flack now into second place, and now he's going to have to get through Gatkowski if he wants to win this race.
Absolutely sensational action here in Shanghai. What are we witnessing? We're witnessing drama, we're witnessing action, and Coolman, well, he's now got to try and see if he can keep cool, because now he's got 2 cars to overtake if he wants a chance at winning this race. But Gatkowski and Casper Flack there looking dominant, looking to put in a top tier performance to try and get this race win, to try and seal out this result here. Will it be CPI? Will it be IRT? Or will it be NLR? Or could it be the outside shot of WR with Evie there down in 6th place? Well, anything is possible in this race. But Phil, all the way down, now getting ahead of Nassim there in 8th. He's got 6.5 seconds to gain to get up towards these top cars. But his pace earlier on in this race really does indicate that he could possibly get up towards this train towards the end of the race. But it's going to take quite a real dominant drive to really catch up. So it might be Phil out of contention for this one, but it doesn't matter really, because we still got 7 cars all separated by, you know, a second between them, and all of a sudden this could be anyone's race.
It could be, and now they head down the street. That is Fraser. The 2 teams that started in the top 4 now coming out into fight again, but somehow Moustache keeps on holding that 4th place down. And now Fraser trying to see if he can get any closer again. He's got DRS from Coolman, though, has Moustache, and it doesn't look like Fraser's going to get past. Or is he? There's a gap open in the centre there. No, he can't seem to get it. He can't seem to get it. He was not itching to get into that move. Not yet, anyways. But now we come to the hairpin. This is an opportunity himself. Is Fraser going to go for it? No, he thought about it. No, he didn't get it at the end, though. So the order remains: Gatkowski, Casper, Coolman, Moustache, and Fraser.
Absolutely, Evie there just outside of that top 5 as well. Could be looking to try and get into it, but this is really stunning stuff here in the Shanghai International Circuit, and I just can't put money on who's going to win this. Gatkowski might be out in the lead by 7 tenths, but it all means nothing come the end of this straight, because you gain about 5 tenths of a second, and all of a sudden, that car that was, 8 tenths behind you, all of a sudden it's 5 tenths. And you're, 3 tenths, and now you're nearly being overtaken come the end of the straight. So it'll be interesting to see how close Casper Flack gets come the end of the straight. He was nearly 9 tenths behind come the end of the straight, though. Only 4 tenths back, but running really deep into that final corner. This could be the opportunity for Gatkowski to pull over a second ahead, possibly, because Casper keeps going deep into that very tricky end of straight hairpin, and all of a sudden, Gatkowski seems to be the man in the lead with a mission to win.
I got close again, did Casper Flack. It can't seem to get any closer. The two NLRs, they're right next to each other. They should be thinking about what their game plan should be. Trying to get past Casper and Gatkowski, in all honesty, because if they keep holding on, Fraser's going to launch an attack soon for the CPI. And NLR, they need to really think of what to do now. They've got 6 laps to go. Time is ebbing away as much as they stay in that positions. Casper Flack, meanwhile, needs to build some ground. He needs to build some ground fast. He's got half of his battery left, and so does Gatkowski. They're equal on terms of ERS. So, you need to figure out how to get all the energy out at the correct time. Casper now coming in the outside. It looks like there's going to be a move change. Yes, Moustache has got past Coleman, and now he's going to defend Fraser from Moustache. DRS open once again for Casper Flack. What is it going to be?
3 wide!
So close, there's 3 wide behind him! And it's Fraser tangling with the NLR drivers. Moustache goes through into 3rd place. And Coleman and Fraser battle on. And that is also Evie right behind, who's going to attempt to move past Fraser. 3 wide again, this time with Evie in the battle through the first corner. And that's Fraser on, and that's a spin for Coleman. Everything has fallen apart for Coleman to in contention for the win, and now he's fallen back.
Yeah, shocking stuff for Coolman. Unfortunately, not going to be quite so cool-headed in the car anymore, because he's going to be hot-headed after that incident there with Fraser and Evie into turn number 1. That 3 wide moment, bubbling over once again. These drivers battling so hard for these positions here, but Gatkowski, he's not been able to extend over a second ahead of Casper, but Moustache is now over a second behind the pair of them, so now he's not going to have DRS, and a bit of a rift begins to form here. And now Phil is close to the back of Coolman and could score a few more points for IRT here in this race. But Casper Flack wants to try and take top honours here in Shanghai, and he's got an opportunity to try and make that overtake once again. Down the main straight we go once again. I mean, this straight, it just goes on for absolutely ages. You'd think in a car that goes 200 miles an hour, Gatkowski runs deep, you wouldn't have to be there for that long, but you just lost Super Spy getting another penalty. Doesn't mean anything. He's already been lapped. No, he hasn't. But he is very far down in this race, so not
Byron.
Influence anything.
Byron. Phil has got past Coleman. He's up to 7th now. What a recovery drive from his teammate. Is so close to Gatkowski. Can feel the lead in the breeze. Right there, he can see him as the drivers in 5th battling for that final podium position. And this could be a double podium for the CPI boys. 1st and 4th right now. Could it be 1st and 3rd? Maybe 1st and 2nd if they're lucky. Because the top 2 are still battling. Moustache can't get any closer. And in all honesty, they are the only team really that can drivers. And Gatkowski now is starting to think, is Casper going to catch me? I've got to go faster. 4 laps to go here, and it's all starting to get really feisty.
Absolutely, it is very, very feisty indeed. And, well, Casper is going to try for this race win, absolutely no doubts about it. But Fraser, again, wanting to try and get ahead of Moustache. CPI are on an absolute mission here tonight, and now up to 3rd goes Fraser ahead of Moustache once again. Evie keeping close to this battle for the podium, though anything could happen, but Fraser has managed to gain a little bit. And what's happened?
Gatkowski nearly lost out of the final corner. Mistake out of the hairpin, but now he has come out of the final corner very awkwardly, and Casper has somehow gained that lost time back. Meanwhile, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, Fraser, Moustache, and Evie still squabbling for that final podium spot. Coming through as there is an incident in Sector 1. That is That is a Super Spy letting all the drivers see him showing some respect, not getting involved. But the battle continues. Now it's back to 4 attempts between Casper and Gatkowski. Neither driver using their energy up. They're conservative when it comes to this. He's right behind. Right behind this Casper. I can sense it now. He's got an advantage. He's got a psychological advantage over Gatkowski. Gatkowski is worried. What has happened to Gatkowski? He's starting to feel really under pressure. He's backing him up. What's going on? This isn't normal. He's going really slow. I don't know what's going on. I think he's going to try and him. That would be one heck of a strategy. It seems to work. There's nothing against the book. It's not illegal blocking or anything. And now Casper is going to get past into the lead for the first time tonight.
Absolutely sensational from Casper Flack there, getting that overtake. I know exactly what Gatkowski was doing. He was trying to back Casper Flack into the back of his teammate there, Fraser, who's obviously in third. He's just trying to hold him up and try and get his teammate into the mix of this to try and get as many points as possible. This is the dynamic you can get. These are the strategies you will see when you go to a team championship, because all of a sudden these teams are going to be going for it in a completely different style, because they have to work together to maximize those points. This is a team championship. Your own individual performances mean very little. But out of this race, this is what CPI want. They want to try and get this 1-2, and that's exactly why they've done what they've done. They want to try and maximize those points. But Gatkowski, he's fallen short of the mark right now, because now he has a tall order to try and get back up into this race lead, because that psychological advantage that Casper Flack has, it doesn't just dissipate. He still has that advantage, and now it's down to Gatkowski to respond.
Yep, so they come into the corner. Oh, it's a bit... He slid through that chicane, and it looked very awkward coming out of it. And Gatkowski's thinking, oh, this is my chance to get back through. We've got 2 laps to go. It's the second last time they come down here. Now, the CPI drivers are going to find a way past Casper Flack. The pair of them, Gatkowski approaching Casper, but he's not going to make the move, and I don't think he should. Not right now, because of course Casper will come striking back. Mustache and Evie, bystanders watching instantly, see what happens up front. And now they fight once again. Gatkowski really close to Casper Flack, cross the line for the second lap. Final lap is here, and they come around, still in the order they were, still fighting, never giving up. The spirit of these drivers is impeccable. They come through. 2 attempts separate the drivers. Is Gatkowski going to try ascend in this? No, he's not. It was a opportunity-filled corner, but he isn't take it. Not yet. He's going to wait until the final back stretch to the hairpin, Byron.
Yeah, absolutely. He needs it now. If he needs the advantage, if he needs the pace, he will undoubtedly need it now. Gatkowski, he's been all out of sorts, all out of shape over the last few laps. But this is his one opportunity, his last-ditch effort to try and take the race win here tonight. He's been battling so hard. He held it for so long, but Fraser there has gone onto the grass. He's gone round, and it means that Gatkowski can't get the 1-2 for CPI, but can he at least take the race win? It's what he wants. It's what his teammate wants. It's what CPI wants. But can he manage it down and down into the braking zone? He goes. He's got the overtake done. But can Casper Flack respond? Around the outside, Casper Flack tries the final lap of action. Now Gatkowski into the lead. Surely Casper Flack can't do anything here. Evie there down the inside as Mustache and Evie both run wide, but it's Gatkowski who wins, followed by Casper Flack, Evie and Mustache there. Fraser in 5th, marginally ahead of Xenon and Phil there in 7th, who nearly managed to get into the top 5, Phil. Massive shout out to him. Coolman in 8th, Nassim 9th, Indian 10th, Sheeda there in, will come across the line in 11th. Enzo will be in 12th, Passar in 13th, followed by Naseki, who has a penalty, so it will then be Killer Storm, and then Naseki rounding out this top 15, points awarded for those top 15, and it will be 35 points going the way of Gatkowski and CPI, with a further healthy haul of points going the way of Fraser there, who was in 5th. So 55 points taking away out of this race for CPI. So a really good first race for that team. Bit more disappointing for others, but you cannot disrespect or count out Gatkowski. What a proven quantity and what a race he's had. Bit of a shame that he wasn't able to stamp it so early on, but he had the pace when he needed it right at the end to make that overtake, and Casper Flack could do nothing to stop that overtake happening right at the death. But there we go. Your top 3 take to the step, and it is CPI who take top honours here in Shanghai for round 1. Logan.
Yes, and they get 55 points for their efforts tonight. CPI, they'll take the top of the standings. Yes, they will, with a 1st and a 5th. The 2nd place team tonight, I do believe, in the IRTs, they got a total of 44 points for their 2nd and 7th place finishes. Should mention 2 points for NLR extra for their pole position, and the drivers in the Ferraris, the LDLs, will get a bonus point for the fastest lap, which will get them, I do believe, 19 points total. 17 for 6, 2 for 15th in the fastest lap. No points for the drivers in the AlphaTauri. That was the ESRL team, so no points will be going their way. They're the only drivers not to score tonight. So, the only team not to score are the ESRL drivers.
Yeah, but a great race. A great race. Gatkowski, Casper Flack, Edie, Mustache, and Fraser, your top 5. Xenon, Phil, Kuhlman, Nassim, and Indian there, your top 10, though. But what a race result. I thought we were going to go to the loading screen, and it just hasn't for me. There we go.
There we go.
But what a race that was.
Yeah.
I just...
It was mad.
What? I mean, you just can't unpack that sort of race. I have no idea if we're going to get any driver interviews. Typically, some of them do join the waiting room. Has anyone dropped themselves in? I'm just going to put in a message. There we go. I've asked if anyone wants an interview, and also described the driving standards as bumper cars. So there we go. I've made my contribution to the stewards room. I'm sure they'll probably see a similar view when they look at everything that happened in that one. But there we go. Evie from WR is apparently going to join us in for an interview. Put themselves in the waiting room. I can drag them across. So here we go. Let's just hope they're not on PlayStation, because otherwise we're going to have a few issues here. But Evie, hello. Quite the dramatic race here in Shanghai. Take us through those final couple of laps, because obviously a lot happened there for you and just everyone. Take us through.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good race, really clean race. Messed up the qualifying a bit, but then the race pace was really good, especially on the mediums. I was just chilling in the train behind Fraser, because I had a lot more ERS than them coming into the final few laps. But then suddenly, before the back straight on the last lap, everybody just stopped, and I couldn't avoid it, so I hit the 2 guys ahead and got wing damage. But then I still managed to have a lot more ERS and straight line speed, so I got up to P3. But then side by side into the final corner with wing damage wasn't really easy. So yeah, a bit of a mess on the final lap, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of action and incidents throughout that entire race from what we are seeing on a commentary point of view. And certainly going to be a lot to unpack for the stewards. Are you hoping you're going to get onto that top 3 with post-race penalties, or are you very much content with P4 for WR tonight? Because, last season you guys, you a decent team, but towards the end, you began to pick up. But obviously, to start off this season with a podium, it'd be a great sign. But are you happy with 4th?
Didn't I finish 3rd? Or did I see wrong?
I might be wrong actually. No, I am
think
wrong.
I got
You were
third on the
third.
line.
You were third on the line. Yes, my bad. I've
Yeah.
been told I'm waffling, so I clearly have it wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of action. Post race penalties incoming.
Yeah, guaranteed. Or actually, I don't know, because of the final lap, the top 2 guys basically stopped because both wanted DRS. But I don't know if that's a penalty or not. But since three of us behind basically lost time because of it and got wing damage, it could be a penalty. Then also in turn 1 and like lap, I don't know the lap, but earlier in the race, I think I was 3 wide, and then the NLR guy spun because he was in the middle. But like, when you're 3 wide into turn 1 and nobody wants to back out, there's really nothing you can do about it when he's in the middle. So yeah, stewards will have to decide.
Well, I mean, what a race that was for you. I mean, a podium. It's a good way to start the season for WR. Your ambitions for the season. Do you think the title's in the question?
Yeah, maybe. Depends how well the next races go. But obviously, just finish in the top 3 in the standings is probably the goal, especially after a decent round 1. Darragh was pretty unlucky with the spin, but still good points for the team with the podium.
Absolutely. Well, I'll let you go away and celebrate a good podium for WR. Hopefully, a good discussion taking place. Obviously, wanting that bit more, but still a great race nonetheless for you. Very well done.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.
Well, Logan.
Yes.
That was certainly a good race. Where are we off to next then? Obviously, had a great round 1, but what are these drivers looking forward to next?
Well, we're looking forward to Saudi Arabia. The Jeddah Street Circuit. 6.2 kilometers, considered to be the fastest all Formula One. Of course, will be on. Well, tomorrow we have. Looks like not PC. Xbox racing on Monday tomorrow night. So catch that before we wrap up in China, and then we off to Street Circuit of Jeddah. Course, the 27 turns of Jeddah, in crazy long track. It goes on forever.
Absolutely. Well, Jeddah is up next, then followed by your manager vote. We have one of those this season. A lot of league racing communities doing those all important driver votes, manager votes, social votes. Why not get you guys involved as well? Well, the manager vote is your round 3, so that will be plenty of tracks. What will they choose? Who knows? I certainly don't, and neither do you, and we won't know until the time. But we've got plenty of action to look forward to across the season. Plenty of things to follow. Make sure to follow the Competitive Speed Series social channels and keep up to date with all things. Check out our partners in the forms of Sim Racing Centre and oh god, why can't I remember the other one? That's quite bad. I can't remember the other sponsor. It's Grid Finder. There we go. I'll remember it in the end. It's been a while. It's a new season. Give me the benefit of the doubt for not remembering. But yes, make sure to check out our partner in Sim Racing Centre and Grid Finder. But until next time, when we head to the streets of Saudi Arabia, when we head to the Jeddah Corniche circuit, keep well and make sure to keep up to date by following us on all of our socials at Competitive Speed Series. But until next time, goodbye.
Night.